So I've got the recording started, and first of all, when I get you set up and we have our user conference next week, I will probably be getting everyone set up the following week. I need to do one more session with the support team, and then I think we'll be ready to go. So you can look for an email probably not next week, but the following week. And when you get that email, it's going to look something like this. It's pretty basic, but it's going to have the support website link in there. It's going to have your customer name that we've set up, and then it's going to have a rather cryptic password. And what you can do, my mouse will cooperate, is you can go to this link, and it's basically going to take you to our support site. And then down here towards the bottom, you're going to see a customer support website. And when you click on that link, that is going to be the site where you're going to enter any issues that you need to enter. And for today, I'm not going to use our production site, but I'm going to use my test site. So let me switch that out. And we'll demonstrate from here. This will be the page that you'll come to enter new requests. And probably one of the first things you're going to want to do is come down here and change your password to something that you can remember. So that link is right down here. And if you click on that, it's pretty straightforward. You put in your user ID, your current password, and then whatever you want your new password to be. As you need to enter a request for us, you come down here. You're going to be on this navigation screen. This is where you're going to enter when you come to the site, and you can tell that because it's highlighted in orange. And as you click on things, they'll highlight from blue to orange. So that's how you can tell where you are. If we click on this new request, it's going to bring up the form. And this information in the blue, we need to do a little bit of data population, but this should have your information already populated. And so when you come in here, this will be filled out for you. There's just a few simple things that you need to enter. The mandatory items, as you can see, have a red star, and so those are the ones that you must fill out. And obviously, we appreciate the more information you can give us, the quicker we can work on the resolution. So if you click on the plus, this happens. Does it happen randomly? Does it happen systematically? Is it not producible? Just make the best selection here. And when you make that, it's going to populate here. Now, sometimes you may click on the wrong thing, and so it's not completely intuitive, but if I hover over that, it turns pink and I get a red trash can. And so if you click on that, you can remove your entry and you can go back in and make a different selection. This affects all workstations or a single workstation. We'll say for this, it just affects a single workstation. And our product, if we scroll down through here, this will have all our products, not just the PV products. So those will show up down here. And I'll go ahead and click our PV 247 website. The urgency, is it minor? Is it major? Blocking means that I can't do my job, I can't log in, something that's preventing me from doing my job. So go ahead and click the appropriate one there. Just put in a title. Okay. After you've got the information in there, and also one other thing, A lot of our customers that we've had for a while, they know what data we're going to need. So if you already have extractions or the information that you need to send us or that you know we'll need, you can attach multiple files here. And what that'll do is it'll give you a progress bar as that's uploading. The files I have are very small, so you don't see that very good because it's so fast. But it'll give you a progress of that, and then the name of the file will show up so that you know it did upload. And then if you did get one that you didn't necessarily need to send, there's a trash can there. You can remove that. Once you have the information in as you want to send it to us, go ahead and click up here in the upper right on Save and Complete. And I meant to point out, if you notice when we were editing that, it shows up in green when you can edit something. So since I've hit Save and Complete, it is now blue, which basically we can't edit at this point. The information you're filling out is on the form, but I also want to point out there's this nice workflow which gives you a little bit of more information than you have when you just email us. We can see that this has been created and that it has gone to support analysis. And now what I'm going to do is, give me just a minute, I'm going to pick that up on my side and send it back so you can see what that looks like. So pick that up on my site, and I've sent that back. And if we refresh here on the customer support portal, there's a couple things. You could see earlier that it was at support analysis. You could tell that it made it to us. Something that's nice now that you couldn't tell with simple email is that you can see that I've picked up your ticket. And so you can tell that I picked it up at 4:13 p.m. This time is showing in French time as the system's running in France. So you will have to convert these times a little bit. But you can see that I've picked up your ticket. And so you can tell that the ticket made it to us, and now you'll be able to tell who has your ticket. So that's rather nice as well. And then you'll get emails as these things go back and forth. We can pass this back and forth as many times as we need to resolve the problem. And each time that it's sent back to you, you'll get an email with a link that takes you directly into this form so that you can edit it. And if we come back in, we can see from the workflow that it's come back to us. There would have been an email alerting you to that. And if we go back to this form, you can see that it's all blue and we can't edit it. And so what you have to do is you have to come up to the upper right-hand corner and click on Edit. This basically starts the workflow back up. And if we go down here to the bottom, we can see this response area where you can respond to the information that I've sent back. And we'll click on the plus. At this point, I've sent the information back. It's either going to solve the problem and we can close the request, or if you have further problems, you can write those in the comment area and say go back to analysis, which will send it back to us. To keep this simple, we'll say close the request. And then once you've entered that, we can close it, and maybe what happened. You do need to make sure that you click on Save and Complete. If you don't click on Save and Complete, we will not get your information. And one other thing I should point out is that if you're gathering a bunch of information, or say you get interrupted, you can click on Save, and that will save it locally for you, but it won't necessarily send it to us yet. And so the Save and Complete will send it to support. So I'll click on that again. And then one more time from my side, I will pick this back up. And we're going to say that this has been answered, and we're going to send it to the survey, which will send it back to you here in just a moment. Okay, now it should be back with you, the customer, and if I refresh my screen, of course this isn't going to be quite as real time as what we're seeing now in the demo. This is going to be a little more time expired, but these are the steps that you'll need to take. So again, you would get another email saying that it's come back to you for the satisfaction survey. And if we go to the form, we can see that it's blue. So that tells us we need to come up here, and to complete it, we need to click on Edit It. And the only field that is mandatory here is the "May we close the request?" And we'll say yes. And then there are a few questions if you want to answer. We recommend this bottom one here. Then if we click on Save and Complete, and we look at our workflow, we can see that the highlighted area, it has now closed the ticket. Another thing I do want to point out is there's two areas in here which give you a very nice history of everything that has happened. In the workflow, there's a history area, and also on the form, there is a history area here, which shows you everything that has happened, the times, and who it went to, and all of that. And that basically closes the cycle. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything here. And I've asked Mark to join us too, because Mark worked on this last year when he was in the customer manager role, and so he worked with the French team, and so I've asked him to join in case there's any questions that I might not be able to answer.
Hey Jay, it's Sam with BI.
Hi, Sam.
Hi, I'm sure the answer is yes, but just wanted to be clear. If one of the responses from NOV is to send attachments, we can do that throughout the life cycle, right? We don't have to just do that at the beginning.
Right, you can add one, and also there is a comment section which I meant to mention. At any time, if you get further information, or say somehow you resolve the problem or any changes, you can come in here and we can do this from both sides. You can add a comment, and that again will send emails to both parties that something has changed, and so we'll both be alerted to it. So yes, you can do both things.
Okay.
Hey,
My
Jay,
next question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
this is Abhi from BI. Another question about the overall process. Are these requests or support tickets that are open, will I be able to see all those that have been opened by BI users?
Yes, you will.
Yes, you will, Arby.
Yes, and thanks, Avi.
Okay.
That brings up one point that I forgot to mention. As you create a ticket, up here in the upper right-hand corner, there's a star for favorites, and you'll probably want to click on that, because if you click on that, and then you can come down here to this star area, this will show you all of the ones that you have starred or favorited. That will be on a user basis, these favorites, but each person will be able to see the entire list of tickets for their company.
And then I can also add attachments to others' requests, those which were originally opened by others.
Yes, via the comments section, you can do that, Arby. You can't actually open the request and edit it, but you can make comments and add attachments that way.
Okay.
So right here on the screen, if you go to the comments section, then you can add the file here. So you can do that at any time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically that's a simple walkthrough of the workflow. It's pretty straightforward. You put in the information, and then we'll go back and forth until we resolve the problem. Are there any other questions?
You said you were setting us up the week after next. Does that mean this will be live the week after next?
Yes, it is live. There's a couple of things that I need to check with. This customer section should be populating. I think there's another piece of information I have to get set up. If you did catch it, there was one list that still had French listings in there. I need to get those removed. But yes, this is the latest version of the support system. Our two other product lines are currently using it, and then we've just been added to use it. So I wanted to get these to you this week before the conference, but I need to do one last run through with my team, and then obviously next week many of us will be tied up with the user conference, and so I plan to get you set up the week after that. And like I said, there's the 5 initial companies. You will be the first ones to get to use it, and it'll take maybe a couple of times to run through it, but I think it's pretty straightforward.
Jay, this is Jody. Where do we see like all the requests that have come in, like for BI? Like if we wanted to look at that, where do we go?
Yeah, so the main place you're going to want to be is this navigator, which is the entry point that you'll go to when you come in. And there's these different queries. If you have one that's waiting for you, you can click on the to-do list. So when that's been sent back to you, if you click on the to-do list, that's going to show you the list. You can also break it down by product, by priority. If you click on these different links here, it's going to query all of the issues for your company, and it's going to show you that list here.
Okay.
Okay. And then, as I mentioned, you'll want to star the ones that you submit so that you can separate them easily. And if we click on the star down here in the left-hand corner, you can see that list. So it takes a little bit of time, but in the upper right-hand corner is where you make it a favorite that I showed earlier. But then if you want to see your list of favorites, you click on the star down here on the left-hand side, and it will show you this list. Okay?
Yep. Yes.
Any other questions? And if something doesn't make sense as we're getting started with this, just shoot me an email. I'll get the answer for you, or put it in a comment in the ticket, and we'll work through it that way. Any other questions?
I do have a question. So is there a way to maybe for like, if we say, oh, we think we had this issue before, and is there a way to search potentially for all the things that we may have requested or had an issue with to see, you know, so we're not asking it again?
Yes, the search button here will let you do a search, and there's an advanced search link button here where you can search on different criteria. So you can start parsing through the tickets and narrowing them down. And one other point too, I think there is a limit, they said, on your favorites of 150. So that'll be a while down the road, but there is a limit on that of 150. But to go in and find a specific ticket, you can click on this search link over here, Jody, and then you can break it down by different criteria and go find that ticket again.
So could you unfavorite older tickets when you hit that limit?
Yes, and that I think what you'd want to do is just go to your oldest tickets that you probably don't care much about anymore and unfavorite those. And, you know, that's going to be a ways down the road, so we'll probably have to send out a reminder as people start running into that or something, because that'll be a challenge to remember 6 months from now, maybe.
And then is there also a way just to see, I know we can see all the BI tickets or whatever, but we can, oh, I see it right now. There's an export option too, so we can get those out. And
yes, if you want to do some Excel manipulation, it'll let it export into XML or CSV. So you have that option, and that is a little bit hidden. So you come into the search criteria, and then as Sam, over here is an export button where you can export out your cases if you want to take them out of the portal and or something. Mark, can you think of anything that I might have missed?
No, I mean, you've also got the option that you can save your searches as well. So if you've got particular searches that you use all the time, you can save them. You can add the additional fields down at the bottom there. So there's a drop-down list where you can add to the number of search criteria that you're using. And you'll probably find that one of those might be for product line.
Sorry,
so
this is Joe. Yeah. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Joe.
Sorry. Hi.
Yeah, so you can basically, from that list, select an additional field. And if you click on the add field, it will move it up to the top so that you can filter on it.
So you could get your criteria quite complex here. And then, as Mark mentioned, if you do that, you would probably want to come over here and save your search and give it a name. So you might have one or two saved searches that you rely on to come back to. One other point too is, if you notice, most of the things coming in will be a new request, but there is also a link here as if you have an idea to improve the software, you can click on the new idea, it'll bring up a form with a few pieces of information, and you can submit that as well, and that will basically go through Nick, and if accepted, will go on to the development team. But you do have those two choices when you come into the portal as well. Joe, did you have a question?
Yes, it was a question regarding the export. Does the export contain all information or only the original request and the resolution? Or dedicated user information also, or everything?
If you export and don't customize the fields. If you just come down here and click on CSV or XML, it will export all the fields. If you only want certain fields, then you can go in and select just the fields you want. So you have the option to do it either way. You can get all the information, or you can narrow it down to certain fields.
Okay, no hidden area.
No.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Will we still receive the kill list for like the system entirely, just because if we go to this, we can't see what other companies may have reported that we may be seeing too? So are we still going to get these known issue lists that come out?
Mark, I don't know if you and Nick.
I'm not sure what Nick's plans are with the known issue list. To be honest, he'll probably cover that. This might be a question to ask him at the user meeting.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much for joining. If you do have questions in the meantime that you think of later, just shoot me an email. As I mentioned, the week after the user conference, you'll get kind of a cryptic looking email like this that will have your username and password and the link to the portal in it. Okay? Thanks, everyone, and have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, Jay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jay.
Bye.
Bye.